So, welcome to the Long Spoon for August 2024 Tabletop Conversation. This is Robert.
I'm Suzanne, and we're Clarity.
I'm Sandra.
I'm Suzanne.
I'm Christina.
And here you have it. So,
And we're outside for the first time.
I
for
know
one
we're
of these.
outside, and it's actually a somewhat cool evening for
It's
a change.
Beautiful evening. We've
For
had
August, whatever it is, 7th?
7th.
Yeah.
August 7th.
It's
yeah,
a 7.
we've had a
There's
wonderful
a lot
dinner.
of 7s going on lately.
7 is a big thing.
It's a
right now.
big thing
Yeah.
this month
Yeah.
and last month,
Uh,
obviously.
Yeah. And we're sitting outside, and it's in the evening,
Mm-hmm.
and we're all have little jackets on, and because isn't that wonderful that in Maine it's
delicious.
cool at night?
We've
Yeah.
had such a heat wave lately.
For us,
For
I know,
us,
it's
I
probably
know,
laughable
it's
to
probably
other people.
You're right.
But
But for us,
I
Yeah.
put on my winter socks with my sandals.
So that's so cool.
So we're glad that you're here with us and enjoying the August Long Spoon. There's a lot in this issue.
Oh, now we haven't read it yet. The
Oh
cover.
yes,
We've
we
read
always
it to ourselves, but
yes,
we haven't.
we always
read it on
select
here.
a
And Christina's
an
gonna
oracle.
read it.
Yeah, an
Okay.
oracle for.
so on the actual
Mm-hmm.
picture,
Mhm.
the collage,
This is
Rape-
the totemic.
the
Yeah.
totemic
Deck.
vastness. And this is number 20. Raven man, a protector of raven woman, stands at the door of between and puts one foot in the opening, so that the black of her fish files are safe as she swims out to gather her oracles.
Mm.
So-
I love that. And you all said you got Raven this morning.
Yes.
yeah,
did.
yeah, we got that.
So
Same one.
Mm.
Yeah. She's really. We got it too earlier
Uh-huh.
this
the
morning.
orca, the totem
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
for
Yeah,
the day.
that was wonderful.
And do you want me to read this?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Raven man, the devoted protector of raven woman, takes his stance at the door of between with unwavering determination. With one foot steadfastly placed in the opening, he ensures the safety of the black of her fish files as she ventures out to gather her oracles. His watchful presence exudes a sense of strength and loyalty, embodying a guardian poised to defend and support his counterpart in her endeavors. Together they form a formidable duo, bound by mutual respect and a shared mission, navigating the delicate balance between worlds with grace and unity.
Mhm. And I think that's so fitting for this issue, because that's basically what the Long Spoon and its contents are doing for people. They're putting a foot between a cacophonous outer world and the peacefulness that can be found in a centered inner world. So the Long Spoon helps feed with all the content that we have on here.
Mm-hmm.
Helps feed and nurture you as you go through this month. That's what it's designed for.
Well, we did something different too. We have put on the different healing decks,
Uh-huh.
but this month we put on one whole section that is a whole multiplication of the different decks.
Mhm.
Yes.
And these are ones that would specifically help with the energies of this month.
Of this month, yeah.
And so,
I think we just call it the healing imprint.
so it's like a person can go in there and
Mhm.
get something from all the different decks intuitively all in one space.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's really good. So there's a lot of good information inside each of these month's issues. But the focus this time, there were a lot of images and collages around the garden's bounty this month. A lot of flowers. It's just beautiful. So you'll enjoy those for sure. And we put things in more in galleries this time.
Oh,
So the scrolling down isn't necessarily as long because they're more grouped into galleries.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have we have one gallery that's under the red house is change actually.
Yes.
Mhm.
I loved it.
That one's a really special one, but we've been in flux with a lot of physical changes
Mm-hmm.
this month, and it's always in the heat of the year. And
Yep.
and there are things that had to change in different parts of the house, and you have to bend into that. And you may be things that you're so familiar with and you love, and then all at once you realize that there's something new coming into that space, and you have to open yourself up to it.
Let go of that
And-
other beloved
Yeah, and it's
space.
really kind of hard. It really is. But then when the new thing comes in place, like where we sat, which really had a Christmas thing there on the back table, and a beautiful piece above it, has been that way for like 4 or 5 years, and I just love it and love it and love it. And then when all at once I started seeing it different, and I even collected things for it. It was sad. I was just really kind of overwhelmed
Yeah.
with it.
Mhm.
But then the day we
But you're brave enough to
started moving it,
go through it.
it became profound.
Hmm.
And I think that's a big thing when something familiar has to change, when it becomes profound.
Yeah.
Hmm.
So you all been doing that in the kitchen.
We have.
And you
There-
wrote, yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
you wrote that so beautifully. And the
What?
first thing as I was moving through the long spoon this morning, and I was just captivated by how you explained the energy that it took for, a good week to move all that. And we all moved it, and we all,
And we took something familiar,
yes,
and changed it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
harder.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I was
And
thinking
not
of-
knowing where
yeah.
it's going to go or what it's going to look like
Yeah.
or anything. We just did it.
And I was thinking about the fact that when you're in that kind of change, when it's the not known,
Mhm.
there's a need to keep yourself protected in a way. I mean,
Mhm.
in guardianed.
'Cause you're thinner.
Yeah, exactly. You feel a lot thinner. You feel stretched into new territory as you're leaving the old behind. So you're stretching into something new, stretching beyond what is comfortable and familiar to create the change that you actually desire. And in that, and what I was struck by
Okay.
with the this particular collage and oracle, it's a lot about guardianship. It's about the raven man protecting, guarding the raven woman as she steps forward into the new to gather more information in her oracles and insight. So metaphorically, for a person or a group who are trying to create change and to step into a new opening of change, there is the need to recognize and call upon guardianship for yourself. And I think we've all really been feeling not only the need for it, but the power of it when we call upon it and ask for the elementals and for the principal patterns and for the mycelial network and all the different things that are allies to us, that are some in the etheric realm, some visible, some invisible, but being willing to call on all of it to safeguard ourselves and to feel protected, safe, swaddled as we step into the unknown. So that we can actually be brave enough to step into change.
Mm-hmm.
And
I think that's
so
why
beautiful.
borage has been up a lot. Sorry,
It's okay.
in the collages is the borage for courage.
Oh yeah.
I think that's
God,
really
I
helped
love
us a
you
lot.
said that, and she's
Mhm.
blooming
She's
like crazy
beautiful.
in the
Yeah.
garden right now.
I didn't know you could eat her too.
Oh wow.
She's
Yeah.
an edible. I didn't
wow.
even know that.
Yeah,
I'm not
they
going
make
to,
soaps and things out of
I'm
it.
not carnivorous in
I
that
know.
way with borage.
I mean, neither. I'm not going to use it. But every morning as I walk through the garden, I always pick one and put it in my pocket.
I know. I love that.
I've had fun with her because after it rains, as you're walking through the boardwalk, when she falls, when her little blossom falls off, it's upright. So it
Oh
looks
my
like the
gosh.
stars, and I kept repeating. I said, "Come out!
It is
everybody
like
see
little
the
stars.
These little stars, and they're just brilliant.
Oh wow.
That's how she lands. She doesn't land like that.
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
You can see all the little blooms.
So she's
and,
very strong and brave.
and she's in usually here on the sidewalk in a little group up there
Yeah.
because there's a larger plant of her. So often the blooms are there, and they are like little stars. They're so cute. And we've been just in the bloomage. It's really wonderful. We're not working a lot in the bloomage. We're just having so much fun being part of the bloomage.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like we're flowers in the garden.
It's really cool. And I love what you said about all the change that is happening in the kitchen right now. And it's really interesting that just intuitively and instinctively it's happening now, because we realize, we as a community, we've talked about it before, but we have intentioned as a community that the kitchen in our home represents America. And we are gearing up, America is gearing up towards this next election. So there is so much going on in our country right now, politically, and, you know, everybody's opinions and all the different issues and all the different things. And so we are intentioning as we move things around in America to help balance out that energy and to intention taking out the blocking, restricting, separative, divisive energy that is trying to be so forward right now in our country. And so we are, you know, yeah, I think we, you know, not everybody would look at it that way, but we actually feel that with our intention that we can actually make a difference to change that. And we can't go out and be doing all the rallies and all the picketing or anything. We don't want to, and but we want to create change. And so
If you want change, you have to live it every day.
that's right. And so that's what we're doing on our little postage stamp in our home, and making that particular room in the home. And it's perfect timing because we are living between the kitchen and the garden right now, pretty much. And it's like going out to harvest or just be with a garden plan that informs and inspires us and supports us, and then bringing that bounty into the kitchen to process it, to find ways to assimilate it and integrate it into our menus and into the food that we're eating. And then as we do that, we're actually doing that in America. We're bringing the garden plan into America to help heal it and balance it and help it assimilate all the issues it's dealing with, all the diversity, all the change that it's facing. And so
We were
it's
talking
like,
about how
yeah,
America had Ellis Island,
yeah,
where people from all over the world were coming in, and
Mhm.
you know, and it was like, so there's, you know, it's filled with everybody,
yeah,
like we've talked about. So it's no small thing to
no,
be
It
breaking
has
down these patterns that are so
People's
limiting.
all over
Right.
the world.
yeah,
So it's
And
pretty
as
cool.
all of Maine knows, in July, that's the harvest time. And we've lived in Maine for how many years? 20?
24, almost
24
25.
years, yeah.
That in
25 years.
July, the mice are on the move. And we have experienced that every house we've lived in is that same month that you need to garner up, because you gotta tighten everything up, because that's where they're looking for their winter pallet.
Yes,
and
sorry, yeah.
and none, all of us are scared of them, but anyhow, well, except for Robert. But anyhow, it's
baby
like
ones are cute.
our garden is so close to the house right now that and it's so funny. It's like it comes from behind us, and people way back behind us start having them, and then they just keep coming until by the
migrate this
middle
way.
they start coming here, and then they come into the garden. And so this year we had to, they didn't as much, we've had them out in the garden and we've caught them and things like that, but they've tried to this year come on in, and all at once, well, of course it scared us all, and even Suzanne's sister, when she came, that's when one jumped out, and it was like Oh my God, they were going across the counter, the thing, and we said, what we realized is,
not okay.
and that's not okay,
They have
but
intruded.
that to get used to it. Actually, it happens every single July,
Right.
and that it's not. So
Well, we have a big enough garden around us that it's no different than a farmhouse.
yeah, it's
The
like we
farmhouse
live
is
in
always
a
had
farm.
that.
They're like, this is fabulous. We love it here.
Yeah. And so we had to,
All kinds
we all
of
had to
food.
reroute the whole where they're coming in, into the kitchen, but also the whole area where things are stored.
Yeah.
Because you get so you forget that they come in July, so then all at once, even
Got
on your
everything
shelves, you have it all
We're
nice
not going
and
to forget
neat.
next year.
And we had them in these beautiful, what were they?
Kind of
Containers,
bins, yeah,
bins,
cloth
and
bins.
and you had
Cloth,
packages of cereal or rice in the bins. It all looked so nice.
Stove
And not in
top.
July. They climbed up and got in those bins, and it scared the crap out of us. And then we had to have a little meeting, and all
We
of us-
love our food. Nothing else is
I
going to
know.
take our food,
It's-
by
they have
golly.
no
It was a mouse
integrity.
council.
And you know what? We changed a lot of things in beautiful ways. We found out there are these wonderful, what are they, mesh?
They're metal mesh baskets with lids.
And they are the best.
And mesh lids.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're clear. They're colored.
Primary colors.
Suzanne asked what would be best with mice, and that was what came up. And we ordered them, and they weren't expensive, and they are fabulous.
Yeah.
Except we don't have them over where they come around the sink. We have them. We moved that,
Across the kitchen.
but
Far
but they
away.
could be anywhere and still be safe.
Yep.
Yep.
And then we thought, what would they not get into, like our flour and our rice and our
Pasta.
pastas? How could we keep them out of it? And what came up was tin.
Yep.
So I know when I used to live on the farm, we used tin, but we didn't have. They were all kinds of shapes, and they wouldn't fit in our storage because we really don't have an official pantry. And so we have the wonderful what are they called, threesies or
yeah,
cubbies?
cubbies.
And we got tins,
Storage
and
cubes, yeah.
those tins are beautiful, and everything is safe in them,
They have lids.
and they fill the cubby.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they fit perfectly
And they look
in 'em.
beautiful, and we're gonna label them all, and so it changed the whole way of the way the kitchen is, and the way we're working with it, and we love it. And then we got more cubbies that came out at the end of where you chop things up and everything, and we put our cookbooks on those cubbies, and then cleared out cubbies that were closer to the sink where we could put the tins in.
Yeah,
And that was a lot of collaborative movement.
it was.
But it's kind of like America right now. There is a lot of energy that would like to take advantage of the harvest that we have going on in America and the good things. And it would like to be able to go in and fill itself up and wreck America. And so we need tins.
Yeah.
We need tin energy, and we need tins, and we need, what was that? Those
Glass.
The glass.
Mason
Decided-
jars.
Mason jars are wonderful for a lot of things. So we put those in the cubbies. And so we're looking with glass and tins
And
and
metal.
the metal mesh to keep the mice or rats or whatever would like to intrude in our home out. And so it's interesting that the room that we call the kitchen, we call her America, because in the kitchen we do most of our work, and our intention is to help our country
Yeah.
and to help break down a lot of things that get in the way of how we all get along and how we all are a huge, vast community that the whole world is here in America.
Yeah.
And I know people wouldn't usually talk about that on here, but this is a big thing to, in your life, look at it. Look
Well,
at
think
your table.
about our whole neighborhoods working with it.
Yeah,
You know,
everybody here.
like everyone
all
here,
our
like, and
neighbors
even the
are-
businesses, they all have things out there, and I mean,
and it is this time of year.
and it's cyclical.
And this time of year is when people get ready to start voting,
Right.
Yep.
start getting their mind set where they want to go, and the clarity they need. And each individual has their own journey. And so that's why the kitchen is the place that we're in the most, and it's the thing that's constantly going.
Yes.
So we chose the kitchen to be America,
Yeah.
so that we would keep America safe in the way that we know how. Every person does things in their country that they do to make a difference. And
As a metaphor, in a kitchen, you don't just use the left side, or just the right side, or even just the middle.
Right.
You use all of it.
Yeah.
and you have to
that's-
get down to
and
the
you have
floor.
To, yeah.
And so
Work
the
with
kitchen,
the diversity of all of it.
the part of you that can't get down to the floor has to move this year, so that you can know what's on the floor things, what is the foundation and the basics, what is the what you stand upon. And a lot of people don't know what they're standing upon.
No.
And so we have to make sure we keep the flexibility to get down on that floor.
And we've made that a practice now to be able to do that. And I loved what you said, Suzanne, too, about once you know the territory, you learn the territory of the ground, the floor, when you're down on your hands and knees cleaning it, you
Yes.
know? And we're all doing that. And in doing that, we're owning and claiming and getting to know that territory so well that nothing can intrude, you
Yeah.
know? And also we're safeguarding it and making sure that we know the territory of the foundation we're standing on, metaphorically and physically. And I really love that. I'd never been able to really see it that way, but it is really becoming a very powerful, meaningful practice to me.
It feels like what
And-
they do in monasteries.
Exactly.
That's
They,
why they
they
do it.
use
It's like
it-
very zen, like, you know.
Very
different
zen.
chores,
It's part of a
quote, unquote,
practice. It's a
are part of a
sacred
practice,
practice.
right? Because you can
It's
actually
not
be
Cinderella.
meditative with
It's zen.
yeah, it's meditative and it's informative. You get information as you're doing it. You hear
Spiritual.
things. It's spiritual. I just thought it's really
Well, it's
become
like
a
when we do
beautiful thing.
compost and we chop up the
Right,
compost,
how
we're
we've talked
chopping
about that.
up and breaking down the
Yes.
emotional
Oh,
things,
that is
and
beautiful.
that really helps us. That physical, actual chopping
Yep.
really
And
is
see, when you
breaking things
associate
down.
one thing
That's
to
beautiful.
one thing to another,
Uh-huh.
then it broadens it, and
Yep.
that's why you can. It no longer becomes just a menial task, because there's really no such thing.
Right. Right.
It becomes
That's absolutely
a
true.
practice of something.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
just assign it, the allow the sounds, the conversation, the looking around, and going, oh my God, I forgot about that, or you know, and then of course the bonus is, it ends up feeling like really nice to have a kitchen like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've taken lots of pictures of the composting, by the way, the whole process.
Oh yeah.
And just by the time we've taken all the pictures of it broken down, and it just looks so great. It's like we want to make like a thing, you know, all about it.
It's pretty
But then
beautiful
it's kind of
thing,
like
but-
without
sure
making
anybody
you
wants
dry
to see
heave.
those
We're trying to make it artsy, but it's kind of
you
kind
just-
of gross.
You just put a little disclaimer in front of that last picture and say, this might be a little heaving, so
Have a small bag nearby.
Oh, that is so funny. But in living a real life that's organic as much as you could make it, you have to work with all that. And with us having the garden just right after our back door in a big garden, we have to know it all. We have to know all the space. And I think last year when we fenced in this whole property in the red fence, it was delicious.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It was delicious. The privacy it created, and the identity it created in the garden, and where we go to sit, and where we go to meditate, and where we do our yoga, and where we do our qigong, and all of that. It's all ours, and we know all of it. But anyway, I love that we really recovered pretty fast from things that make everybody squeal and run, and it didn't take us long at all to knock it all out, and we all looked at each other
And that
and
was
said,
after
next
dinner.
July
It wasn't
we are
like-
I mean,
going
it
to
was
be
after-
ready
yeah.
in June.
We
Yeah.
didn't,
Huh?
the
After
kitchen
dinner, we'd gone
transfer,
upstairs at
it
9
wasn't,
o'clock.
yeah,
Go go to bed.
kitchen thing wasn't like
No.
doing it on a Saturday or a weekend.
Uh-uh.
We did it after we ate, between then and time we
Went
went
to bed,
upstairs.
yeah.
Went to bed.
Except
That's
for
pretty
Suzanne
incredible.
forgot the zucchini in the oven.
Oh, yeah, the quiche.
So tired, she was almost hysterical.
I said, "Do you want me to go down and get it?" And you're like, "No, it's okay. I'll go get it."
Because she was already in bed.
I should have gone down and gotten it.
Oh God! What days we had! They're so full,
Oh, they are so
and they're
full.
so creative, and they're so fun, and they're exhausting, and at the same time we just get overwhelmed. But we have a life.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, we really do.
We really have a life here.
And we really look at it. We don't just
yeah.
pass
It's an
through,
examined life.
mark it off as though that one's done.
Yeah.
It's more like, oh, but look at what all's inside this day.
I was also going to mention a really cool thing that we realized today.
Right.
In this change in the kitchen, unexpectedly, a wonderful bonus is that we, because of space issues in our kitchen and having to utilize all the space, the shelving units that we got of cubbies, they were full before this change. They were, and they are positioned, part of two of them are positioned in front of the two windows that we have in the kitchen.
Oh yeah.
And so we had to do that for the space considerations. But they were also full of our cookbooks.
Yes.
So not a lot of light could come into the kitchen through those windows. And all of a sudden, without thinking about it, without it being planned, because we've got the 4 new cubbies that you all felt to get, all the cookbooks came off of those shelves that
Every
were
one
in
of
front
those
of the
more light.
in front of the windows, and now that's where those mesh baskets for the fruits and vegetables are,
And the
tins, and all this light is able to come in around those, whereas the
Yeah.
books are solid, you know.
Yeah.
And that was great and perfect for what it needed to be then, but we didn't even realize we weren't getting that much light in there. And now, so there's something really symbolic I'm realizing as we talk about America and what it needs right now.
Lighting the
That
dark.
we are letting light into America, which is very powerful, very healing. And
Yes.
so
Illuminating
without
the dark.
planning it or thinking about it, we actually
Well,
managed to
pattern is
get more
for more
light
than one
into,
thing.
Yeah,
Right,
we
yeah,
managed to
right.
get more light into America.
Isn't that
So-
It
fabulous?
That's
reflects the light that's coming
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
I noticed that this
That's
afternoon.
really
It
good.
was
Yeah,
like,
and your sister
Just
came
don't
to
put
visit.
chocolate in it and it'll melt.
Right, we won't do that.
When the tin gets hot.
And Michelle came to visit
Yeah.
right at that time,
Uh-huh.
and we had so much fun with her, and we even had my birthday while she was
Yeah,
here,
it was
Yeah.
great.
and that was a really fun thing to do, and
With the rest of our family.
yes, yes.
Extended family up here.
yeah, we could adjust to that. But one thing we've also had to realize this month is it's not so much what we have in the menu for dinner, it's the time.
yes, yeah.
That we have all agreed that if all we had for dinner because something went off was peanut butter, it was better to have peanut butter at the right time. We set dinner for 5 o'clock because at 5 o'clock we're in that place before the blood sugar starts dropping
The twilight
in
zone.
the
Yeah.
twilight zone and you
As we
become a
refer to
vampire.
Angry.
Suzanne's werewolf arms.
Become hangry.
And then the back.
And you're overwhelmed. And
Yeah.
and even if you have blood sugar problems, or you don't have blood sugar problems, most people, that time are okay to eat. When they go on closer to 6, they get a little more edgy, and at 7, they're F vampire.
Well, you know, if I eat at 5, I don't do the after work snack thing.
Yes.
I move right
Exactly.
into dinner, and that really helps. It's
Yeah.
really grounding for the
grounding.
evening.
You're
Yeah.
so right.
Mm-hmm.
So we've said it as that what we need to do is to like nail it in, 5 o'clock. And if we don't even have time to fix the menu because something else happened, we got backup,
Yeah.
and that's kind of for people who love to cook and love to eat good meals and love gathering together. That's a big decision.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It has
Because
been. Yeah.
lots of times if a day gets too busy, we're eating at 7.
Yeah,
And-
because we're pushing through to make sure that the menu plan
Yes.
stays in place.
That's right.
Nothing will interfere. The plan must prevail, and even if it's 7 o'clock before it's done, you know, and we're all hangry.
Well, it's funny because the fancy meals, sometimes by the time those are ready,
You can't even eat it.
even move to it, but you can move to peanut butter.
That's right. You can't even eat it.
There's no barrier for
Oh.
peanut butter
Yeah.
or applesauce
That's been
or
really
something.
revolutionary to.
And we've
come
said
to
it
this.
5 other times, but it's after a little bit, a couple of weeks of staying with it, then it starts becoming 5:30. Then after 5:30, it starts becoming 6, and it just keeps graduating down.
Yeah.
And,
Well, and you guys are moving other things around earlier in your all schedules, throughout the day. So I mean, it's all connected into making it
and the thing
smooth,
is
moving.
that we've all agreed that 5, whatever we're doing, we're quitting, and we're going to go eat.
Yeah.
And then also, if we can't prepare, something happens and we can't prepare what we planned, change it.
Yeah.
That is a huge
Yeah.
energy shifter, I think.
No wonder
because-
5 equals change.
Yeah.
It's
Oh
a
my
big
God!
change.
Really.
That
Yeah.
that is so right, and it's like, it's like for Suzanne, she absolutely loves cooking and loves these beautiful menus, and we love it too. But our everyday life, sometimes that works, and sometimes it doesn't. But it doesn't work if we eat late.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
It felt better today, didn't it?
Yeah, it did a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely did.
I think that's like
Just
in life.
realizing
We set patterns up, and our life swings around and changes, but we try to lock that. Well, we have the pattern of 5, but we try to lock in that we're going to do it no matter what, and then we're doing it past a time that we can do it, and that's when you get sometimes you think you just got a few things in the day, and then it multiplies itself. Kind of like chickens. And it happens to everybody, and we have to come back and put how that makes us feel first. Yeah.
Anything where there's ease is, for the body and for everything, is always helpful.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, that's been our focus, hadn't it, in the
Yeah.
last few books?
Yep. It's very much so.
Yeah.
Wow. This has been a
This has
been
lovely
great.
tabletop
Very enriching.
conversation.
Was there anything else you want to
Yeah,
bring,
wanna
talk
add?
about too? With around,
Feels like what's really
this
been
totemic
forward
thing.
for us right now.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe I'll put sprinkles in the compost. That'll make it pretty.
for
For some pictures.
More
I
photogenic.
can't wait to see that. I'll never eat sprinkles. I'm gonna eat them anyway. But
Oh my God.
it would be just like Christina. to do
It
that.
would. Well, on that note, we want to thank
Something
you
to
for
look
joining
forward
us.
to.
And hope you
Well,
thoroughly
but I want to
enjoyed.
mention that
Uh-huh.
in the part where it's on the Red House,
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot. You'll see a lot of pictures of all kinds of little interesting, cute things in the change,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just really all those characters all came together in a different way in that little corner there. And it's very different for me. And I've got books there which I had wanted, and they're right there with all the little dollhouse
Right in
people
with everybody.
Mhm.
Yep.
To read. And so that's why we put that as that part as important. And then the other part was all the blooming,
Mm-hmm.
lots of pictures about
Yeah.
the blooms, all the different
Yes.
things blooming in the
Just
garden,
incredible.
and then
And the
collages
conversations with them. I
that,
love that.
that go around there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah. Is there anything else you think that you want to share?
I think the whole thing with the changes in the room and in the kitchen
mm-hmm.
is that if you stand there one day when the idea comes up and you're like, it'll never work, and then you move into it and everything fits, everything goes into place. And that happened the other night. I mean, I couldn't imagine, how are we going to do this before we go to bed and blah, 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 blah. And within 3 hours, everything was removed from the shelves, everything was emptied into things, everything went back on the shelves, and it was a whole new kitchen.
Whenever there's by the millimeter, you always know Susanne's involved.
Right.
Her vision
Yes,
is
by
always
millimeter.
by the
Delicious.
millimeter.
Yeah, and we're talking 1 millimeter.
Yeah.
But I mean, all 5 of us in there, and by
Yeah.
9 o'clock we were done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you may have some other stuff to do, but the majority.
Yes,
the
Suzanne had a
movement,
few more.
Yeah,
the change.
we had a few more things,
Yeah,
but it's
the
all good.
change happened quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I think that happens to all of us, Robert and I.
It does.
So when we get ready for the
Yeah.
books
Oh my
and
God.
everything, you know, sometimes we're not done till late at night.
Yeah.
Oh,
Getting it
I don't know how you guys do it.
done up, but
You'll be double doing.
oh,
And we'll be getting ready to go to bed, and you're just getting ready to start.
Yeah,
And it's
start.
like, I don't know how you're doing that. Here's some scrambled eggs to help.
oh,
but
thank you.
good luck.
Somebody does that, either you all or Sandra does that for us, and it's
Yeah.
so great. It helps us get
Really
on to
does
sleep,
help.
let down.
Yep.
But I just think the other thing is that we put in, what was it about the house? There was another, oh, the blooms.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think you'll enjoy that. And then we also did a thing with decks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I told you that
gallery,
already.
Good.
gallery.
And I don't know, it seems like we added some other things.
Well, there's new artwork too.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
a new
Oh,
artwork.
Yeah.
good.
And you all do know that you're allowed to email us and say hi. And if you liked it or not, it's always
If
fun
you
to
don't
hear.
like it, don't bother.
Don't email. Yeah.
We can't hardly
Positive
hold
feedback
any
only.
more of that.
We are tender spirits.
Well, we don't get a lot of feedback. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
and but we're not waiting for the feedback.
No.
That is not why
I
we
was
do
just
it.
being silly,
But
but-
we don't want to be beat up.
But
We're
I
just-
don't. I was like,
I think
We're
it's
getting
pretty
old.
incredible that this is the 25th issue.
yeah, that's pretty
This
cool.
feels special.
Oh my
Yeah,
gosh!
it is
I
pretty
didn't even
issue.
know that.
I know. I didn't
25th
know it
issue.
until last month's issue was 24, and then I was like, wow,
Just add
it's
it up.
25. But it felt like 25 years when
Uh-huh.
I typed
did
it
when
in.
You said that.
I know.
did.
No, it's like
And
your
it was funny.
25-year anniversary.
I know.
No, that it's just
That's silver, isn't it?
But it's funny because you guys said you've been in Maine 25 years.
That may be
Oh,
the
So
25
that's
years.
kind of neat
Yeah.
that can
Yeah.
kind of, there's a connection
is-
there.
If you add those two numbers up, what do you get?
7.
There you go again.
And
I
7 is
didn't get
7.
that.
It just
Oh.
keeps coming
oh
around,
my
doesn't
gosh,
it?
that is
Uh-huh.
wild.
Oh,
That's
it
kind of
really
a
is a-
synchronicitous kind of pattern recognition.
Yeah.
Well, and I reached out to a friend today, and her little daughter, her birthday's next month, and I said, oh, which day is it? And she said it was, first week of September, and she's going to be 7.
Mm.
Oh, another 7.
Oh my gosh.
They follow. It's like
Over it.
it happens to a lot of people. They'll get a new car and it's blue, and all of a sudden
They
just
see
see
blue
blue
cars,
cards
yeah.
everywhere.
Yes.
It's just a phenomena that works. Isn't it?
It's amazing. On my birthday, which I was born 7/27/47, I met my daughter. Robert and I did, and we had a little breakfast, and then I went to.
We
Oh.
went to
TJ Maxx.
TJ
with her.
Maxx.
She needed to go pick up something.
And there was something else, and there I fell while I was looking at something else off to the side. I fell all the way to the floor, and I saw my hat fly by, and it kind of reminded me of the Wizard
ankle.
of Oz.
Say how you felt. Your
On
ankle
him.
hit an elevated platform.
Like a
And it was,
corner
it was,
of one,
it was
yeah.
corner, and it was.
And I was looking
a
at a
little
fairy
difficult to
statue
see.
out to the corner of my
Yeah,
eye,
So,
and
and
then
you
I
went.
down on both. But I my knees bent and went sideways,
Mhm.
and then I caught myself
On your
on my
wrists,
on my hands and wrists.
Yeah.
And I was like in a perfect pose, and it was like I didn't actually hit my head. I thought I was going to have a concussion,
Yeah.
and then I thought somehow I'm okay, and
Yeah.
I went all the way down to
Concrete
the
floors
floor.
are very
You moved right
unforgiving.
into your yoga,
I
almost
did.
as if
Yeah,
you were
you
like,
did.
Yeah.
I'm just
Start
going
doing some
to
yoga stretches.
move
And
right
I told
into
him, I said,
there.
"Don't get anybody I got this. My body's all right. Of course, I've been sore, and my wrist got a little swollen. Then it went down, and Christina
yeah, it
gave
looks
me
really
some
good.
fabulous
Amazing.
Yeah,
arm
wow.
braces and
Looks really
and,
good.
but I thought, what if the fairies do that on my birthday to 7 day?
Well,
Very taken care of.
Since this came up into the conversation, obviously the answer is inside the long spoon
Dot, dot,
somewhere.
Dot, dot, dot.
Okay, well, thank you for joining us, and enjoy.
Robert and I'll say good night.
Good
Y'all wanna
night.
say good
dot.
night?
Good night.
everyone.
Yes, we
or
love
day,
you guys. Thank you for all
depending
your
on when you
support.
hear this.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah.
Lots of fun.
Enjoy all month
Enjoy
long.
the month.
Yes, indeedy.
You get to hear
Give-
everything.
You're
Yes.
in for a
Don't
treat.
you give yourself time. You're worth it.
Yes.
Ooh, that should be a good ad, wouldn't it? Give yourself time. You're worth it.
I'll
I
do
hope
it
you all
next
liked
month.
it. Oh, right. Okay, bye for now.